Morning, everybody. I'm gonna call the meeting to order. This is we are convening as the local contract review board right now. And if you could stand and join us for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, good morning, everybody. We've got a couple little items we need to deal with as the local contractor review board, and I think County Council Tiffany was going to present that for us.
Yes, Tiffany Podlesnik, County Council. Item number 1 is a public hearing and a board order to authorize an exemption from competitive bidding for the Stanton Park landscaping project. The purpose of this request is that the county has gone out to bid twice, competitive bid, received one bid that was higher than the county's estimate for the project. And so we are asking that the LCRB grant an exemption to allow the county to direct appoint a contractor. As I understand it, the county has solicited a contractor, done some negotiation and done some cost savings in doing that. And so this hearing was published in the Daily Journal of Commerce. It's also been on the bid documents website, and there was a written request made to the LCRB on behalf of the Parks Department to authorize this exemption.
You guys got any questions before I open up the public hearing? Okay, seeing none, I'm gonna open up a public hearing at this time and invite testimony on this matter. Anybody out there like to testify? Okay, I've closed the public hearing. The board order we have is listed as separate.
It's associated with this,
Right.
so there's no testimony, but it is a board order that would authorize the county to direct appoint a contractor
So
for this project.
we need action on this board order.
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
I move to approve the board order.
Just wanna make sure I'm following the agenda. This is item number 2,
Correct. Well,
It's item
kinda
number
item one
one.
and two kinda got
and is 2
combined
something
together.
different?
It's the public hearing and then it's a board order, so it is item number 1,
Then we'll be taking up item number 2 next.
correct. There's 2 board orders.
And the first board order,
Is to authorize an exemption from competitive bidding.
generally, not specific to Stanton Park.
No specific to the Stanton Park.
Then what is the second board order?
The second board order would be to authorize an exemption from the performance and payment bond requirements for the Stanton Park landscaping project.
Okay, so that's how we go about the internals of the contract is the second portion.
Yeah, there's a second cost saving opportunity that's a separate board order for this performance bond issue that we'll talk about in a second.
Okay,
I will second that. So we have a motion and a second. Any more questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, I'll call for the question. Commissioner Boyce?
Aye.
Mr. Freeman?
I'm gonna abstain. I don't understand exactly what the purpose of this is.
Chair votes aye and the motion passes. So before we talk about the next board order, maybe Tiffany can explain that a little bit more then so that we can understand that.
Tiffany Podlesnik, County Council. This second agenda item number 2, it is a board order that would exempt this particular project, the Stanton Park landscaping project, from the statutory requirement of the contractor tendering performance and payment bond requirements.
So can you talk about for a second why we wanna do that? Or do you want me to do that part?
My understanding of it is that in working,
So yeah, let me do this, let me ask you the legal question. Legally, what gives us the ability to do this, and then I'll explain to you why the department's asking for it.
so there's a statutory requirement in public improvement projects to have a contractor tender performance and payment bonds when there's a certain monetary threshold. The LCRB that's adopted for the county has exempted certain classes of contracts, I believe, is when the project doesn't exceed $50,000. So this project wouldn't fall under that exemption, so then it is defaulted to the statutory requirement. However, the LCRB has authority to provide an exemption for certain classes of contracts or a particular project of, and in this case, there's the request for this particular project alone to exempt it from this requirement.
So, and the reason being for that is we have a contract with this particular provider for exactly what we want to have performed there at Stanton Park. And should we require this performance bond in that contract, essentially we're gonna pay for it. The contractor's gonna add $10,000 to the cost of the contract to buy the performance bond. We're gonna pay the $10,000 to the contractor to cover that cost. And we already have the parameters of the job detailed within the contract. And I just don't believe that the performance bond expense is necessary for us on this project.
Is this contractor a known quantity with us?
Mark, have we used them before?
We've not used them before, but all the references, this is.
Hey, would you come up to the, I want the microphone to pick you up so folks who might be listening can hear what you had to say, please. So the question Commissioner Kress asked was, is this particular contractor a known commodity with us? In other words, have we used them before on other projects and are we familiar with their work? And the short answer to that question is no. And then the follow-up question is, then why would we be willing to do this, or why are we considering it? And that's what I'm gonna ask you and have you answer.
Yeah, I can confirm we haven't used them before, but in my due diligence, review of the CCB and the history and other reviews by the customers, it's impeccable track record. I'm fully confident they will execute as requested.
Anything else then?
I don't have any other questions.
Mr. Freeman, any questions?
My questions are more of Tiffany and maybe you don't have this information, but it seems like maybe this has been being worked on for a while. I mean,
This
when
project,
this particular item, agenda item, when was it brought to your attention to prepare for the meeting?
for the LCRB,
A week ago, 2 weeks ago, a month ago?
it's probably been at least 3 weeks ago because we had to publish 2 weeks in advance in the Daily Journal of Commerce. And so that publication obviously was at least 2 weeks ago. You had to get the proof to them, and then it took, I would say, working with the Parks Department, it took about a week or so, maybe a week and a half to get the documents in order, because when you look at the board order that was just approved, there's an exhibit to it that's findings, and there's a number of statutory categories where the board adopts findings under each of those related to the project. And so I would say probably closer to a month.
Yeah, that's what
On the
that's
LCRB
what I was
aspect.
saying.
Great, thank you.
The ball started rolling on this really when we put the project originally out for bid
Last fall,
last fall and got,
one in which we rejected, it was pushing 600,000, and we did a rebid.
right,
And
It's
it
been-
came down a little bit, now we're 50,000-60,000 under that second bid.
and right now we're bumping up against, you know, the construction project in Upper Stanton Park is finished. The only thing keeping us from reopening the upper park is the landscaping, and we're bumping up against our season, which we missed a portion of last year, in trying to get this done.
Contract is available and contracts requires completion by June 30th, time for the summer vacation season.
So here's my problem, and I'm happy that the project's moving forward. Some months ago, in order to try to understand what all we were doing there, because I had heard some complaints, turned out not to be factually correct from the chamber in Canyonville, I went to look to see what was going on, and I was promptly run out of there by the host, so I couldn't even take a look to see what was happening. This has been being worked on for over a month, and not once has the Parks Director come and said, hey, here's what we're doing. So I have no idea what it is, I don't know this contractor, I don't know why you know, this performance bond, we don't wanna spend money on, but every other contract we do, we spend a fortune on. Performance bonds are expensive, there's a reason we have them. I'm great with if this is the way to go forward, but what I'm not great with is coming to this meeting not informed of what's going on. So for that reason, and abstained on the last one, I will be voting no on this one.
Well, and I guess I'm a little, not gonna be, not so much apologetic, but I've been working with Tiffany on this for quite a while. So I was quite versed on it, and I really wasn't aware that you weren't. I'm sorry for that.
Well, again, I think when we get outside the normal way of doing things and we're gonna, you know, exempt, change from, have one-offs, I think it's incumbent on the, you know, the department head to come explain to each of us what's going on. And we've talked about this a bunch of times, so I'm here every day. I don't think it's my job to chase it down. I think, you know, I'm the one being asked to vote for something. I should get informed about what it is, so. Anyway, not a big deal.
Agree with you.
From what I can tell from the road, the project looks beautiful.
Your concern is noted.
Thank you.
I'm looking for a motion on this.
Oh, I thought I made a motion. I move to approve the board order.
I'll second that. Motion and second, any more discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. Commissioner Boyce?
Aye.
Commissioner Freeman?
No,
Chair votes aye and the motion passes. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
I'm gonna adjourn the meeting, the local contract review board, and I'm gonna convene as our regular business meeting. So, first item on the agenda is our consent agenda. We got some extensions. Basically, they're all extensions and which are routine, and we can enact those in one motion, and I would move to approve the consent agenda.
And I'll second.
Motion and a second on that. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. Commissioner Boyce?
Aye.
Commissioner Freeman?
aye,
Chair votes aye and the motion passes. Alright, at this time, we have citizens' questions or comments. Do we have anybody out there that would like to comment on any of the agenda items we have today? Nothing there? Anybody in the audience? Okay, I'll move to item number 3, which is a board vacancy that Commissioner Boyce wants to talk about.
Yeah, so this is something that sort of fell in our lap, not anything that we really even knew was a thing until recently, and it's sort of put us in an odd position, and I'm not sure that today's the right day to handle it. But here's the story. So the Port of Umpqua had a vacancy on their board due to a death of one of their board members. And it is under the purview of the existing board over there to appoint for that vacancy. And they had 3 different applicants, my understanding, apply for that vacancy. And essentially, they had no agreement amongst their board about who to appoint. So they had 2 board members vote for one person. They had a motion made to appoint one person, and 2 people voted in favor and 2 people voted against. They had a second motion made for another person, and a different 2 people voted in favor and a different 2 people voted against. They had a third motion made to appoint the third person and had the same result. Essentially, all 3 candidates received a tie vote, and the vacancy exists or remains. So according to their bylaws, I believe it's their bylaws, they suggest that now becomes our responsibility to appoint their vacancy. And the challenge that we have is that we don't really know any of these people well, what their experiences may or may not be for serving on that board, what their availability may or may not be for serving on that board. And they basically just handed this to us and said, here, do this. I'm not real comfortable with that, at least at this point.
So I allowed this agenda item to be on here because I thought maybe it would become clearer in things, but it's just as muddled for me now as ever, so I'm not in a position where I would be comfortable voting on anybody at this point. I don't know enough about it.
yeah, and the challenge is, I read the packet and all the applications, and I kind of agree with the Port of Umpqua. You have 3 qualified applicants, you know, that likely each of them could do the job, right? So it's kinda, without knowing any of them or talking to any of them, it's sort of hard to pick between them. I do know Commissioner Boyce is our coastal liaison and may know of them, at least, or know them more than I do, so I'm happy to take a recommendation if, you know, if you're comfortable with that, but I'm also happy to do some more due diligence, whatever y'all wanna do.
I'll just soon wait and do some more homework on this.
One of the things I thought about, and I don't even know if we could do this, because I don't believe this is in statute that we require, I think this is something that is, you know, just good practice from the associations. I don't know that we might be able to, and it's something to look into, but is be able to delegate this authority to, say, our, you know, our judge over there.
The minutes actually reflect that they thought a judge did and then
That's right, and
later it
when I
found
saw
out,
that, I
yeah.
thought, well, here's a judge that lives over there, part of that community, has been for a long time, might actually know these people.
We could visit with her, that's not a bad idea.
Find that out.
Tiffany could see who has the authority, or at least, even if it falls back on us, we could get a recommendation or talk to the mayor, talk to some folks, I don't know.
The thing that I struggle with is I do know who all three applicants are. I know a little bit about them because I am the coastal liaison and I've been over there. The one applicant that I would only recommend because she served on that particular board before. But you guys know as well as I do that when you have a board of 5 people, the dynamics of the board matter. And who those people have on their board and who they can work with and who they can't work with matters. The type of business that they have that they're gonna deal with coming up also matters. And it's difficult for me to just plug somebody in over there that they may not wanna work with. And it's obvious that there's some different opinions amongst the people who are already on the board about who they wanna work with and who they don't. So without digging into this deeper and understanding the whys of all that, I don't feel real prepared to make that decision on their behalf.
I need to have any kind of movement, should we just strike this from the agenda today? Okay, we'll take this up at another time. We'll move on to the next item, next agenda is a Parks Department item.
Morning Commissioners, Mark Wall, Parks Department. Before you have contract 302943 between Douglas County and Anderson's Erosion Control, landscaping of the Stanton Park, Upper Campground and Day Use Area in the amount of $482,200. The cost will partially be funded through the Land and Water Conservation Fund Grant Program Agreement 41-01641 OP 2577.
Move to approve the contract.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Questions or comments?
Just I'll make a comment real quick if I may.
Yep.
So I've got no problem with the contract, and again, when you drive by, the work looks good there. I just was kind of uninformed of what the situation was, so I'm happy if you think these are the right people to do the work, get the project done. I'm happy to vote for the contract.
All right, anything else? Now I'll call for the question, Commissioner Boyce?
Aye.
Commissioner Freeman?
Aye?
Chair votes aye and the motion passes.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is, oh goody, a planning department public hearing. Tell us what that's all about.
All right, Joshua Shackley, Douglas County Planning. Before you this morning is a hearing and order incorporating territory for an owner-initiated annexation of property into Myrtle Creek Rural Fire District for subject property located at 8795 North Myrtle Road in Myrtle Creek. Chief petitioners are Paul and Donna Schubert. Subject property consists of a dwelling on 25.43 acres and is zoned EFU cropland. Staff is.
Before you go any further there, you got 2 of them there, I think, mixed up. You're talking, Myrtle Creek, but it's actually Days Creek on the Schubert property. Where's our agenda?
Okay. Yeah, it looks like
If you've got it,
my script here is, I'll just go off the agenda, hold on here a second.
get it right, start over.
Yeah, apologies. Again, a hearing and order incorporating territory for property to be annexed into the Days Creek Volunteer Fire District. The chief petitioner are Paul and Donna Schubert. Property is zoned farm forest, contains a dwelling and is approximately 48.8 .69 acres in size. Staff has reviewed and found the annexation to be in compliance with statewide planning goals and the Douglas County Comprehensive Plan, and there are no known objectors to this annexation.
Questions of staff? Seeing none, I'm gonna open a public hearing at this time. Invite testimony on the matter. Anybody like to testify on this annexation? Okay. Seeing none, I'm gonna close the public hearing. Pleasure of the board.
I will move to approve the annexation of the property and the order incorporating the territory.
No second.
Got a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. Commissioner Boyce?
Aye.
Mr. Freeman?
Aye.
Chair votes aye and the motion passes. Okay. Planning Department, public hearing again.
Good morning again. Joshua Shackley, Douglas County Planning Department. Before you this morning is a hearing and order incorporating territory for an owner-initiated annexation of property into Myrtle Creek Rural Fire District for property located at 8795 North Myrtle Road in Myrtle Creek. Chief petitioners are Thomas and Wanda Van Epps. Subject property consists of a dwelling on 148.58 acres and is zoned both farm forest and farm use grazing. Staff has reviewed and found the annexation to be in compliance with statewide planning goals and county comprehensive plan, and there are known objectors at this time.
Any questions? Seeing none, I'm gonna call to open the public hearing on the matter and invite testimony. Anybody like, certainly come on up, sir, tell us your name.
Thomas Van Epps.
Can you wait till you get up there and the mic will pick you
Sorry.
up that way? Thank you.
Thomas Van Epps.
Good morning.
I'm not sure how that was written up because our original address was 8797 at I don't know if you have the aerial map in front of you.
I don't, no.
It's right here, we can,
We can certainly grab it.
So that was in the 80s, and then in 93 we moved, put a triple wide next to it, about 300 feet away, and so we kept that address 8797 for the new home, created a address for 8795. But the fire map shows it covering 8795 and not the new one. That's all, this needs to be a new boundary for him.
Okay.
So here's my question, what's the street address? 8797 and 8795, what?
Yeah, they share a driveway and then it splits,
North Myrtle Road?
yes.
And you're wanting to make sure that both residences are included in the
Yeah,
fire
and we
coverage.
thought we were, the fire chief came out and put a new sign up when we created the 8795, and we just thought, well, we're in.
Okay.
And that was whenever they put the signs up 30 years ago.
But for some reason, you recently discovered that you weren't.
Yeah, and then the county come up with a new map and we got a letter. Said, you're not in the fire district on 8797.
who'd you get the letter from?
Planning, I believe, or
Assessor's office.
assessor.
Yeah.
So the assessor's office sent you a letter saying you were in the fire district?
Pardon?
Josh was answering it. I didn't realize the assessor sent out letters about fire districts. Well, we can,
Yeah.
after public testimony, I'll ask that.
Anyway, that's,
I guess bottom line at this point, you want to be in the fire district though, okay?
yes, absolutely. I mean, we always thought we were.
Sure.
And it just oversight maybe by the mapping,
Okay. Both these houses share the same address, or same driveway,
yes.
they're 300 feet apart. And one of them, according
Maybe
to the
600.
assessor, is in the district and the other one isn't.
Yeah, and it was just a line they didn't add in around the new house.
See,
What year was that done?
We put the newer house there in 92, I believe, 93. Can't remember for sure.
wow, okay.
Yeah, so just an oversight, I guess.
Okay, well, we'll rectify that today.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Any other testimony today on that subject? Okay, I'm gonna close the public hearing. Pleasure of the
We
board.
have Joshua come up and answer the question.
Yep.
So I believe all four of the annexations, and the reason you're seeing so many come through the past few weeks is that there's some legislature passed, and I don't know enough about it to really explain it very well. I can get back to you on that, but the assessor's office is doing some review of their maps. So I believe all four of these, it was discovered that the improvements, the home and structures were outside of the current fire district boundaries. So they received a letter from our assessor's office basically notifying them of that, and if they chose to come in and initiate that, then
So I'm gonna say this, and maybe the others don't care, but when that happens, that is different than owner initiated, right? That's assessor initiated. I'm happy if they want it in there, but when you present it as owner initiated, the owner didn't just pop up and say, hey, I wanted to do this one day. Somebody from the county sent them a letter, said, hey, by the way, there's a problem here. So who initiated that conversation? Wasn't the owner.
sure.
The owner may want it, the owner's here today telling us he wants it, I'm happy to do it. But when those things happen, could you please let us know that's occurring?
Sure.
Just so we know, what's going on. It just seems a little odd to me that, we, the county, this gentleman correctly said the county sent a letter, saying that they weren't in the fire district. I didn't know we did that. And if we're doing things from the county, it'd be nice to know.
Sure, and I'll get you more information on that legislature because we send out one or two, well, the assessor's office sends out one or two letters a year up until this change, so.
Right, and it's a big change.
And there's some, I didn't interrupt, but the first thing is, I share the same concern that Commissioner Freeman has. I mean, there's a big difference between somebody building a new home and doing their due diligence and saying, hey, I wanna make sure that I have fire coverage here and calling the right people and starting the process, than there is receiving a threatening letter in the mail saying, hey, you're not in the fire district, and if your house burns down, you're out of luck. And that letter comes with our names on it, essentially. And we don't know that it's happening. That's not okay with me. That's the first thing. The second thing is my experience with the assessor, and I'm concerned, legitimately concerned about this, is the gentleman's gonna add his new home. And first of all, has he been paying fire taxes on the new home the entire time? Or has he not? If he hasn't been, is the assessor all of a sudden gonna make him pay 5 years worth of back taxes for that because she can? And the house has been there? Does he even know that that's at least some level of likelihood?
I don't think that's the case, cause they're not he hasn't been in the district, so he doesn't owe the tax.
Okay, well,
Yeah, those would be good things for us to know and be able to inform people so it doesn't come back later from a decision we made. And those type of things are happening in other areas of assessment, so I'm concerned about it.
And just to clarify, the letter coming from us isn't threatening, it's basically notifying them. And I think
well, it may not seem threatening to you. But how it's received is different sometimes.
Sure.
So, I mean, it's sort of a do this or else.
I can provide a copy of the letter so you guys know what's,
Pretty handy. Copy of the letter would be good.
Okay.
Anything else? Close public hearing. So now I'm looking at pleasure of the board.
I'll move to approve the annexation order incorporating territory.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. More questions or comments on it? Then I'm gonna call for the question. Commissioner Boyce?
Aye.
Mr. Freeman?
All right,
Chair votes aye and the motion passes. Next item up, planning department public hearing.
Joshua Shackley, Douglas County Planning. Before you this morning is a hearing and order incorporating territory into property into the 10-mile rural fire district for property located at 2075 Sibold Canyon in 10 Mile, Oregon. Chief petitioner is Brian Skorupa. Subject property consists of a dwelling on 155.72 acres and is zoned farm forest and timber resource. Staff has reviewed and found the annexation to be in compliance with statewide planning goals and our comprehensive plan, and there are known objectors at this time.
That's a good question. So assumingly this land, since it's farm forest, as were the previous two, are already being assessed DFPA assessment for rural fire, forest land protection.
Yeah, part of the annexation process is the DFPA has to relinquish basically jurisdiction and the fire district takes over.
Oh, I don't think so. I think they get dual assessed.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they get to pay both now. So that my question is, and I had actually underlined all these huge acres. It seems to me like it was 5 acres and now maybe it's 10 acres that the structural fire folks are responsible for and the wildland firefighters have the rest. So I'm curious if they're gonna be assessed on the whole 155 acres for structural protection or just the part around the house. And I know there's people in the room that know the answer to that, so I'll find out later. But that's the kind of questions it'd be nice to ask ahead of time so that people understand that we've got a lot of calls through the years about the dual assessment. And that's, I understand why it's that way, but some people might think they're moving from DFPA assessment to rural fire protection assessment, but I don't believe that's what's gonna occur.
Any other questions before I open up the public hearing? Okay, at this time, I'm gonna open up public hearing and accept testimony on this matter. Testify. Seeing none, I'm gonna close public hearing. Pleasure of the board.
I would move to approve the annexation of the property and the order incorporating the territory.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments on that? Seeing none, I'll call for question. Commissioner Boyce?
Aye.
Commissioner Freeman?
Aye.
Chair votes aye and the motion passes. One more time.
Joshua Shackley, Douglas County Planning. Before you this morning is a hearing and order incorporating territory for an annexation of property into Azalea Rural Fire District for property located at 936 Starvout Creek in Azalea. Chief petitioner is Stancil George Jones. Subject property consists of a dwelling on 11.93 acres and is zoned RR Rural Residential. Staff has reviewed and found the annexation to be in compliance with our comprehensive plan and statewide planning goals, and there are no known objectors.
Questions for him? Open up a public hearing and accept testimony on this. Would you like to testify? Seeing none, I'm gonna close the public hearing. Pleasure of the board.
I will move to approve the annexation of the property and the order incorporating the territory.
I'll second that. Any other comments?
Just to say that I've worked with all these rural fire districts, they do a fantastic job. I probably should have started with that. You know, in these communities, especially during wildfire season when there's big fires, these folks, volunteer folks show up and absolutely work very hard to protect their communities.
Agreed. Call for question, Commissioner Freeman?
Aye.
Chair votes aye and the motion passes. Next item on the agenda is a Public Works Department item.
Good morning, Commissioners. Scott Adams, Public Works. Item in front of you is a contract between Douglas County and Limwalker Tree Service for miscellaneous road maintenance on an on-call and as-needed basis with a term expiration date of March 1st of 2027.
I will move to approve the contract.
And I'll second that. Any questions or comments on?
I believe these are the folks that do our tree out front. It's kind of fun to watch them swing around the tree.
Yeah, gives you a vertigo or something. Yeah. Call for the question, Commissioner Freeman?
Aye.
Chair votes aye and the motion passes. Next item is also Public Works Department item.
Again, Scott Adams, Public Works. Item in front of you is a contract between Douglas County and Jesse Rodriguez Construction LLC for the Winchester Bay Lighthouse Road Water and Sewer Line Improvements Project. Bids were received and opened on February 11th of 2026. Jesse Rodriguez Construction was the lowest responsive bidder. Bid items were reviewed and we're proposing a contract for the value of $977,010 with a project completion date of June 30th of 2026.
We'll move to approve the contract.
I'll second that.
Just mention that it's looking very nice over there. I know you've just about completed the project for moving the road over and making it safer for people to get from the campgrounds to the sand dunes, and then this last piece of infrastructure to make sure everything works over there is gonna be very nice.
Call for the question, Commissioner Freeman.
Aye.
Chair votes aye and the motion passes. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
And Mr. Chair, I have one little off-agenda item, if I may. As you know, and I've talked about it here at the meeting, the BLM is doing a revision to the resource management plan, 2016 resource management plan. As part of that process, they did a request for people that want to be a cooperating agency. Douglas County historically has the largest timber receiving county on the ONC, has been a cooperator. When I first got here in 2015, I attended those meetings that were the end of the process of developing the 2016 resource management plan as a cooperating agency from Douglas County. We have submitted that request for Douglas County to be a cooperating agency, and not officially, but unofficially, I've heard that we're gonna get granted, matter of fact, I think we're gonna be the first agency granted cooperating agency status. And I would like the board to delegate to me to do that work on behalf of Douglas County. I would also note that the ONC Association will also be a cooperating agency, which I'm the chair of that board. We'll have our executive director fill that slot. We have one other county that is gonna assign one of our technical staff from our association as a cooperating agency representative from their county. And then I believe Klamath County, the commissioner there is our treasurer secretary, and he's also going to attempt to become a cooperating agency. So there'll be 4 of us from the ONC Association to represent the county's interest in this plan revision. And our interest, a little bit different than the timber industry, but not unaligned, is that the revision reflects how this management plan directly affects the citizens that live in Douglas County, the county government services that are provided, and that the human species represented through the process, which oftentimes gets forgotten by the agency. It's sort of funny, the National Environmental Policy Act not only requires the economics of their decision, the agency's decision to be weighed as part of the decision, it also requires that all species affected by the policy work, in this case, the resource management plan revision, are looked at. And it's amazing to me how often the agency neglects to think about the effects that the work they're doing will have on the human species. You know, we all live here, have to breathe the smoke in the summer, and we've got several cities that have had to upgrade their water systems because of the runoff after fires and things. So having the counties at the table, and specifically Douglas County, to represent that part of the resource management plan revision will be very important. That revision will take some time. I will be attending those meetings. They have not disclosed where those meetings will occur. Last year, they occurred up in Springfield at the office up there, but it will require me to be gone from the courthouse, attending those meetings and representing the public's interest, the human interest in this process. So I would move to delegate authority to me to represent the county in that plan.
Second that, and I wish you luck and glad that you're doing it.
Thank you.
We have a motion and a second. Any more questions or comments on that? Seeing none, I'll call for a question. Commissioner Freeman?
Aye.
Chair votes aye and that motion passes. Next item on the agenda, I believe, is commissioners' comments. Anything today?
Again, I'm excited about that cooperating agency status. It's something we've worked for since the signing of the 2016 plan, knowing it was inadequate. This revision allows a change of the purpose and need statement at the very beginning. And the purpose and need statement I believe will align with the ONC Act. The current purpose and need statement of the 2016 Resource Management Plan is in conflict with the ONC Act. So we're excited about this opportunity to realign the plan, the sort of the working document for the BLM on the ONC to what the ONC Act calls for. So should be a good and you know, in effect of that is for Douglas County, it'll give us the revenue needed to continue to provide the services we're currently providing.
And I'm grateful that it sounds like we're gonna be very well represented, the ONC in this deal, so, you know, that's fantastic, when normally we're, you know, kinda left out of that process.
This Friday, we're having our ONC board meeting. We're having it in Lane County. We're actually having it at Starfire Lumber. They've recently built a new office building, a timber frame building. It's absolutely beautiful. We're gonna have our meeting there, our board meeting. And we have the acting new state director coming down and presenting to us. And I've got to talk to her and meet with her quite a few times already. And I'm very excited for the rest of the board to get to know her a little bit. She's gonna be fantastic in this process.
Perfect. I have nothing more to add, I'm gonna adjourn the meeting, thank you all.